Welcome to Accounts of a Feeler. I want to talk to you guys today about a movie that I'm not necessarily endorsing or recommending, but I do want to talk to you about my experience with this film. And this is apropos for the genre/focus of this series. I watched a movie a few years ago, and I want to talk about this because I've seen it a couple times since then. But this is a very interesting case study, I would say. I watched a movie. Okay, the context was I just got back from a mission trip that I led to Mexico with, I want to say 30 BSSM students. And that trip had like 3 or 4 significant challenges on it that weren't like the end of the world. They just were challenging, like emotionally taxing, especially where I was as a leader at that point. It was emotionally draining just to be around all that for 2 weeks straight and not really get a break, you know? So I didn't really know how to pace myself and take the breaks I needed in the midst of all that. So when I got back, I was like strung out emotionally. So I went to the Dollar Theater by myself and watched this movie. I didn't know what it was about. I kind of had an idea-ish. I just knew the cast was awesome. I knew it was a drama and that there was like a really dramatic climactic scene in it. So I went and watched it. It's called August Osage County. Again, not necessarily endorsing this film. But here are some of the actors: Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep, Benedict Cumberbatch, Dermot Mulroney, Ewan McGregor, Abigail Breslin. There's some other big actors in there that I'm just not remembering all of them right now. Anyway, fascinating drama. It's 2 hours of pure drama. So hang on, I gotta close this door real quick. Listen, this movie was so dramatic, so intense, and so emotionally toxic for 2 hours. And when I left the theater, I felt so good. It felt like catharsis for me. It felt like I got emotional energy release. What does that even mean? I want to take a moment and talk about that here. This film is of dysfunctional family coming together because one of their family members died, and so they're all trying to work through the grieving process and do the funeral and have meals together, and there's obviously so much latent resentment, bitterness, insecurity, anger pent up in these relationships. The storytelling was done really well. The acting was incredible. I'm not sure that's a good thing because every character had problems. Anyway, it was really well done, but at the end of all of this, when you see these characters hit these emotional peaks and they are flipping out and having these moments with these other family members, there was something about watching that on the screen displayed apart from me, seeing these people go at it and just kind of tear each other apart, that made me feel less crazy, made my intense emotions feel kind of maybe not justified, but like validated, like, oh, you know what? People feel strong emotion. Like, I'm not crazy for feeling really intensely about these moments that I encountered or experienced with people. It felt like there was a release and permission for me to feel strongly things I was like trying to resist while I was on the trip just because I needed to lead, right? I'm not saying that's how it should have gone. That's what happened. So anyway, this was a soulish experience for me. So this, when I talk about accounts of a feeler, I'm usually talking about spiritual dynamics, but in this experience, I think this was mostly a soulish one, meaning I just had all these emotions pent up in my own soul that I didn't know what to do with yet. I hadn't sorted through them. I didn't know like where to place them or how I felt or like what the feelings were and what to do with them yet. So watching this film of people just going through these intense, strong emotions and just kind of flying all over the place provided a focus and an outlet for me to be able to express and feel my own emotion, like touch it, you know, and have like some kind of grid and structure to like interact with what I was feeling and then feel a sense of resolve. I don't know that I made a ton of decisions about my trip based on this experience, but it moved things through my process that allowed me to feel more at peace and content and able to intentionally like navigate through what was going on up here, you know? So I've found that when I cry or laugh really hard, that it actually releases some kind of pressure that's built and located somewhere around here on my physical body. And it releases emotion and allows me to move forward. This movie did that for me. I don't know that I cried a ton. I didn't cry in this movie, I don't remember. But the intense emotion and the drama just like building throughout, I don't know, it just caused a release and like allowed me to move forward in my own emotional process. So to this day, I still really enjoy and appreciate that film, even though most people I've shown it to do not like it.